In this first hand of the day, I pick up 10-9 of clubs in the small blind. Steve in the cutoff raises to 3. I decide to call. Someone to my left, immediate left, I think it may have been Scott, could have been Tony, then is to act, and let's see what he does. Puts in some more chips and raises to 12. This comes back around to Steve. He makes the call. I'm getting great odds here, so I just make the call. Alright, let's see a flop. So we have 36 in the pot, and we get a flop of 7-6 deuce rainbow. We have a gut shot, and I immediately check, and the person to my left bets 18. I think it's Scott. Steve folds. Think about it for a bit. I decide to make the fold because I didn't think my top two pairs there would be any good. In this next hand, I switched the view over to vertical just as an experiment, and I'm in the small blind. There's a limp on the button by Mickey. I pick up ace queen of diamonds, make it 350. And I get a call from the left, and then a call from Mike opposite me, call from Mickey. So there will be $15 going into the pot. The flop is, as you can see, non-Broadway cards. I check it over. Checks around to Mickey, who decides to make it 6. I make the call. The other two players fold. Turn is the miracle ace, and over here with $27 in the pot, I decide to lead for $15. I think I also had the option of just checking and see if he would want to bet a lower hand, but I just decided to lead, and he ended up folding. Okay, this hand falls into the category of value owning myself. So I'm dealt black 8s in the cutoff position. Shane limps, Mickey raises to 5, and I call. Comes back around to Shane, and he makes the call. So we go into a pot of 1650, and it comes out ace 7 6. We check over, and then the turn comes up with a 5. Shane leads out for 3. Mickey calls, and I decide to raise to 25 with my open-ended straight draw and pair. Shane folds and Mickey calls. The river comes jack of clubs, and we both check. I showed my pocket 8s, and he had pocket kings. This hand will be in the category of value kicking my butt kind of hand. So I am in middle to late position. We have a few limpers, and I look at king 10 offsuit, which is something I don't normally play that aggressively, but I said, hey, let's make a pot and raise it up to 550, and I get a call from Tony, and let's see who else is going to call here if we get any. I think Steve over there on the right decides to make a call, and Mickey decides to make a call. So we're looking at a nice sized pot here, and the flop comes king queen 4. Checks over to me. I bet 12, which is just about half pot. Tony calls, the others fold, and we get a turn of a jack. So this is king, queen, 4, jack, and I have king 10. So I have top pair and open-ended straight draw. Tony checks to me, and I'm always going to be betting this large-ish, so I bet 30 here, and Tony thinks for a bit, makes it 60. Nowhere for me to go here other than call. I don't really feel like getting it all in at this point. I want to see a river. River's a brick. It's a 7. And he checks. I check back. I show my top pair, and he has a top pair better kicker. So he had actually 2 pair, king jack. So he totally owned me there. Alright, in this next hand I pick up ace king in the middle position. Mickey had raised to 3, and I re-raised to 12. It comes over to Stacy in the small blind, who raises to 25, so she 4-bets. Mike in the big blind folds, Mickey folds, and I decide just to make the call here. She's showing a lot of strength out of the small blind with that raise, and we have a pot of $54. Flop comes queen high, and so we don't have much going on. It's checked around, and turn comes a 10, and I believe there were 3 hearts on it, and Stacy at this point leads out for $50, and I just didn't think I had much to call with there, so I laid it. Now here's a fun one. Mickey has equal stacks of every denomination. Right, so here's a really interesting hand. I pick up kings in middle position. Mickey opens to $4. I make it 15, and small blind folds, big blind folds, and Shane, who had limped, is going to make the call, and Mickey makes the call. So we go to a flop, and it says here 45.50. I think I missed another $1 or so, but roughly $46. The flop comes ace high, so it's ace queen 4. I believe there were 2 hearts on it, and Shane leads for 15, and Mickey makes the call. I decided to make the call. I had some plans for future streets, and turn comes, and it's a 9 of clubs. Shane again leads for 15. Mickey hesitates here, and well, actually he had it took a few seconds for Shane, and he led for the 15. Let's see what Mickey will do. Calls, and I again make the call, and the river comes at 10, so it fills up. I think it filled up the flush draw there. It also fills up some straights, but I'm blocking the nuts, and then into this bloated pot at about 136. He leads for 15, and I decide that I am not going to give this up to a weak ace, which seems like is what he's representing here. And I have all of the nutted hands that could be here. Decide to raise it up to 125 and put him in a tough spot. Now, it's possible that I was bluffing with the best hand, but if I wasn't, then I hope Shane isn't watching. So he laid it down.